Good evening, I'm Erin Burnett. Out front tonight, we begin with breaking news. Sleeping prison guards. That's what may have allowed the two killers to escape. A law enforcement official telling CNN that investigators are looking into whether prison guards on the honor block were sleeping during their shifts. That would mean David Sweat and Richard Matt were virtually unsupervised as they dug their way to freedom 20 days ago. Now I want to go to Eric Jensen. He served time at Clinton. He knew David Sweat, he knew Richard Matt, he knew Joyce Mitchell, and he knew Gene Palmer, and Harry Hawk, a retired NYPD detective. And I appreciate both of you being with me. Eric, so let me start with you. Just heard Shimon's impression of Gene Palmer. You knew him.
I did.
You knew he was sort of the kind of guard, as you're saying, he would trade information.
Information for favors.
For favors.
Yes.
Okay, so explain how that worked and what the man is that you knew.
Well, it works like if you want.
So you're saying it fits with him when he admits to passing these
Yes.
tools four times.
Right. Yeah.
This is exactly the kind of guard you would expect. He would have done that.
Yeah.
So Harry, when you hear that, first of all, you know,
Right.
someone who was there saying absolutely this would have happened. Gene Palmer saying, but I had no idea.
Right.
Do you buy that I had no idea?
Well, you know, maybe he had no idea.
This could have been there nearly 30 years. Let's just be clear. This is not a rookie.
Yes. And he's also thinking.
Eric, I mean, he's saying he trusted Joyce Mitchell.
Right.
Is that ordinary that someone like Joyce Mitchell would say, well, I want to get this to this prisoner, so I'm going to pass it to this guard in between?
Without a doubt.
And so that would be standard. That wouldn't be a weird red flag for him?
No red flag at all. No.
They didn't scan anything. And I think that's a big question as to whether the scanners were really being used at all.
Exactly.
A huge question. Now, Eric, the question for you, though, still remains. They get the tools.
Right.
They're obviously working on this for some period of time.
Right.
Nobody noticed? I mean, what about this guards falling asleep? That adds up to you?
That happens all the time. They sometimes.
I mean, Harry, what we're learning from Eric, from Gene, from this whole system about how one of the most secure prisons in the country operates is pretty frightening, okay,
right.
Number one. But also the search, 2,400 tips. They haven't found them.
You know what?
And a lot of finger pointing, of course, going on as this goes on and on. People are getting frustrated. Eric, Harry, thank you. And out front next, a huge day for President Obama. The Supreme Court saving his signature health care law. The decision, a major blow to Republicans. Actually, is it? Plus, a new CNN poll shows Donald Trump hot on the heels of Jeb Bush. The presidential candidate is with me here out front, one-on-one tonight. That interview coming up. And new calls to ban symbols tied to the Confederacy, from the stained glass at the National Cathedral to Confederate games on iPhones. Where do you draw the line? Tonight, Obamacare saved in a major win for the White House. The Supreme Court upholding the president's health care law. All right, well, thanks very much to both of you. One thing we know, it is a victory for the president today. Well, out front next, Univision dumps Trump over his comments about Mexicans when he called them rapists. Well, Donald Trump responds. He is my guest out front next. Plus, it's the mayor of New Orleans on a mission to remove all symbols tied to the Confederacy. Can this be done without rewriting American history and pretending something that happened didn't? Rock star Courtney Love gets taken hostage and reacts as expected with true drama and angst. Here's Jeannie Mose. And thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to set your DVR. You can record the show at any time. Thanks so much for watching. AC 360 starts with Anderson Cooper right now.